My pleasure. Thanks for the introduction. Thank you so much. You've done a great job on the emceeing this whole time. Thank you. What's up? Yo, yo. All right, let's do this. So, first of all, it's an honor to be here. There's so many more of these conferences popping up, or maybe I'm just becoming more aware of them. But it just makes me so happy to see so many people and so many new documentaries and so many more people making positive changes in their life. Because these positive changes that we make as individuals create ripple effects that change the people in our surroundings, they change our environment, they change this entire world. And right now, the current state of this world is truly like a horror movie. It's like the worst horror movie you've ever seen. And I'll explain all about veganism things in a minute, but when I went vegan, which means when I sort of realized what I was contributing to, which was a huge amount of violence, unnecessary violence, it was like the opposite of waking up from a scary nightmare. Because you know when you're having a nightmare and there's snakes everywhere or something like that. I get the snake nightmares. So there's snakes everywhere and I'm freaking out and I can't get away, and then I wake up from my dream and I go, oh my God, I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved that was just a nightmare. But when you go vegan, when you kind of wake up to what's happening in this world, it's the opposite. You wake up and the butcher doesn't look like just a butcher anymore, just another shop next to the news agency. It looks like a murder scene where there's decapitated bodies of individuals who screamed in their last moments. And then you walk down the aisle at the supermarket, just another mundane shopping experience for most. But for somebody who has woken up to the atrocity of what's being done to the animals, you see these body parts all wrapped neatly in these packages, and the eggs and the milk, you know, that's been stolen from these animals, and they've suffered greatly for, and all had their lives ended for. And you go to family Christmas dinner, and you're eating your delicious vegan meal, and your loved ones are eating the murder victims that you are fighting for. Your friends, you know, that these animals would have been your friends if they'd lived in your house, just like our dogs and our cats are our friends. They become family. So it's like waking up in a nightmare. You wake up, you realize what you've been contributing to this whole time. You realize that it's everywhere, prevalent in our society. It breaks your heart, you get angry, you get passionate, hopefully you funnel that into a good direction and you try to create change. And that isn't always easy in a world that is built on the exploitation of others. It is not easy in a world that has normalized violence and cruelty and killing against certain individuals and protecting other individuals from those very things. It's confusing. And it's tiring, and it can be hard. But there is a beauty to this new knowledge, to this enlightenment, to waking up and seeing what's really going on. And the beauty of it is that when you know better, you can do better. And you can create a change, and you can help end this issue. This massive issue that is prevalent in so many aspects of our life. Human health, environmental issues, ethical issues. When you realize that you can make a difference, and when you realize that your actions do make a difference, in fact, they're the only thing that makes a difference, that's empowering. And instead of feeling guilty at what you used to contribute to and depressed at what is still happening today, you feel grateful that you woke up and you saw it for what it is. You feel empowered and passionate to get out there and do something. And there are so many ways that we can do that. And that's some of the things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about, first of all, because I know that there's some people here who are not yet vegan. And I want you to know that I'm not going to judge you for that. And I hope no other vegan here would either. Because if you're a vegan, right, which I know there's a lot here, put your hand up if you've been a vegan your whole life. Oh no. Naughty, naughty. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's always one. You get the picture. Most of us, myself included, as of only 5 years ago, didn't know any better. And therefore, we shouldn't judge others. Most people don't know better. Most people don't get it. Most people believe that we need meat for, we need dairy for. Animals are killed humanely, yeah? Fish do not feel, wow. Really? 2.7 trillion sea animals are killed every single year, rough estimate. And we've been led to believe that none of them feel pain, when all of them feel pain. 74 billion land animals killed every single year. So when we do the math, 74 billion land animals, 2.7 trillion sea animals, and we equate it to a single day, that is 8 billion lives. 8 billion sentient beings who are being mutilated, tortured, exploited, and murdered every single day on this planet. 800,000 million lives taken against their will every single day. And I was thinking about this one day on the top of a mountain, and I saw this sort of different perspective. I saw all these houses down under me, and I thought, I wonder what this world would look like to an alien species. I imagine this little alien child, and he had to do a project on Earth. So he's like, okay, I'll do some research. Goes away, does some research, makes some points, and he comes back. And like, what did you find out? And he says, well, I looked, and I thought I'd start with the main cause of death on planet Earth. Throat slitting. Throat slitting is the main cause of death on this planet. And these people are good people in all the ways, but they pay other people to do the killing for them so they can pretend it doesn't happen or that it's done in a nice way. And they eat the body parts of these victims while they pat their dogs or their cats, a couple of specific animals, saying how much they love animals. And the main cause of death is throat slitting. And that's why I named my project Planet Throat Slit, or Planet Slaughterhouse, or Planet Murder, because that is what's going on. 30 minutes from here, in most directions, factory farms, slaughterhouses. Where I'm from, factory farms, slaughterhouses. Every nation on this planet, factory farms, slaughterhouses. Billions of individuals suffering and being killed every single day. This is a big deal. This is the biggest deal that I can think of. In terms of numbers of victims and the amount of suffering, nothing comes close to what is being done to the animals. Why do people not care about this? We've been taught not to care. We've been taught that we need to consume animal products to be healthy. I was a personal trainer for 7 years, telling everybody to eat meat. I remember vegetarians would come to me and say, oh, can you write me a meal plan for vegetarianism? I said, yeah, I can. It's going to have meat in it, because you're going to die if you don't eat meat. And I literally believe that. I got vegetarians back onto meat. That's bad. So much has changed. Back then, I didn't realize who animals were. I didn't care about animals. I never even liked them. I had a dog, Bruce. Didn't even like Bruce. I didn't. Great dog. But he was, slobbery and smelly and dirty. That's how I viewed him. I didn't view him as an individual with his own heart and his own brain and his own wants and desires, who does all the things I do. Eats, breathes, sleeps, has friends, has a family, born into this world, blood, bones, flesh, thinking, moving, instincts, wants to live, doesn't want to die. That's every other animal. That's us. We are animals. Humans are animals. We forget that. I forgot that. I missed that day in grade 8 science class. I didn't listen a lot anyway. I definitely missed that one because up till 5 years ago, I honestly thought humans were something here and all the other animals were something here. I didn't realize that humans are one species of millions. Just another species. Yes, we can do amazing things. We're very intelligent in many ways. But the intelligence of an individual should not determine the value of their life. I know a lot of humans that are not the brightest. That's okay. They're born how they were born. They deserve their lives to be respected. You know, and it's not about what you look like on the outside either. Why do we discriminate against them? What is the core of this issue? It's called speciesism. Speciesism is a form of discrimination. There's a great quote that summarizes it perfectly. Because the heart beats under a covering of feathers, scales, wings, or fur, it is for that reason to be of no account. Does it really matter how we look on the outside? Haven't we got this wrong enough? When white people believed they were superior to black people and they enslaved them for that, just because a slightly different race, the human race is the same, but the color, that's what determined it. Men believed they were superior to women, even though both humans, even in the same race, but because of a different sex, and men believed that they had authority over these women and could control their lives. And these things still exist in this country, right here. We're far from perfect. We've got a lot of work to do. And I like to think, and I hope we agree, because I don't know everything, but I just like to think that we've made progress with those things. Slavery has been outlawed, although it exists still in many places. Women have the equal rights, although in some places that still doesn't exist. But I hope we continue to move forward in what I think is a forward momentum. I really believe that, and I hope that. We're making forward momentum now with speciesism, with veganism, with the vegan movement, the animal rights movement. Veganism is not a mundane diet choice. It is the difference between enslavement and freedom, between torture and peace, between death and life. It's very easy. Your whole life doesn't need to drastically change. In fact, if you already are fighting for a cause, that doesn't mean you have to stop fighting for that cause and fight for veganism. You don't have to make a choice. If you're going to go to a women's rights march on a Sunday morning when you wake up, eat a vegan meal before you go instead of a meal from the exploitation of individual animals. If you're going to put on clothes, which you probably are, unless it's a Free the Nipple campaign or something like that, then put on not somebody else's skin, but put on clothing made from plants. Synthetics are even better. They're still not great, but they're better than killing somebody and ripping their skin off their body. When we make these small choices, these different choices, you're gonna have that cereal for breakfast anyway. When you go to the supermarket, it's this easy. You go down the same grocery aisle. You're about to get the cow's milk. You remember, I'm not a baby cow, I just learned this recently. And you just do that. And you might have missed it because it's subtle, but it's there. It's just that. That's all you have to do. And instead of getting cow's milk, which in case you don't know, let me just run you through the dairy industry quickly. In the dairy industry, for a cow to give milk, she isn't just naturally producing milk all the time, like we're led to believe. Just like a human, cows need to either be pregnant or have recently given birth. In the dairy industry, to make that process efficient and fast, humans will shove their arm into a cow's anus so they can maneuver her cervix and then inject her vagina with bull semen, which was stolen from a bull in a way that you can use your imagination. They do this while she's restrained. They force these things into her body while she is restrained, often bucking and kicking, not wanting it to happen to her, of course. After the forced impregnation, which would be also called bestiality if it was to a dog or to some other species, but in the dairy industry, business as usual. After that, after her 9-month pregnancy, she gives birth. Her baby boys and girls will be taken from her because they don't want the babies drinking the milk that the humans want to take. Now, this is a traumatic experience for these mother cows because they're a maternal animal. I was in Israel when I saw this with my own eyes. Someone threw the baby cow, newborn, into this caged wheelbarrow and wheeled him or her, I'm not sure, wheeled her away from her mother. And the mother came right after, right hot on the heels. And then the gate was closed in the mother's face. And you could clearly see the distress, confusion. It was clear in her face, her body language, just like our body language shows these things. The baby boys in the dairy industry are sent to the slaughterhouse. They don't produce milk. They're seen as a waste product. At the slaughterhouse, they're shot in the head with a bolt gun. It fires through their skull and pierces their brain. And then they get their throat cut open. Sometimes they're just a week old when this happens. The baby girls have the same fate as their mother. They're forcibly pregnated when they're old enough. Her babies are taken from her. She's used as a milking machine over and over and over again. A milk slave is what she is. And then after 4 to 7 years of this treatment, continued impregnations, babies taken, they do that yearly. After all that, after all her hard work that she did not choose to do, she's sent to the slaughterhouse as well. Humanely slaughtered. That's what we call it, humane slaughter. And these cows can live 20, sometimes 25 years in nature. We do this when they're still basically children. This is speciesism. Could you imagine if this was happening to humans? Or even dogs? We would not stand for it. We should not stand for it. A civilized society should not be okay with this. Not just neutral and not buying these products anymore. That's what veganism is. It's about non-participation in that violence. But we should take it a step further and not just go, oh, yep, there's this horrific thing happening right now, a mass genocide of innocent beings, which by definition is a Holocaust. It's just happening. No, we should do something about this. We should end this for them. Einstein said, those who have the privilege to know have the duty to act. We have a duty to act. We have a duty to do something for them. Their screams go unheard, and the lies are told constantly. Let's talk a little bit about humane slaughter. Humane means to show compassion. How can you compassionately take the life of somebody who doesn't want to die? We're not talking about euthanasia here. They do not want to die, just like you would not want to die. There's no humane way to kill someone who doesn't want to die. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. That's like a free-range kind of idea. Oh, a free-range farm, all this beautiful meadow. That's better. It's better that they don't get tortured first. But murder is still wrong. Killing them is still wrong. Taking the life of somebody who does not want to die, their most precious gift, robbing them of that is still wrong. And no matter how it's done, a lesser of two evils is still evil. Now, if this had to happen, the dairy industry, the egg industry, the meat industry, if it had to happen for our health, okay, I wouldn't be up here. Just like before, I believed that was true and I never cared. But what I learned, which got me started on this journey, was that not only do we not need to consume animal products for our health, but we improve our health when we don't consume animal products. We live a longer life. We reduce our chances of the biggest killers that our friends and family are faced with if they don't do this as well, that humans all over the world are faced with. Heart disease, cancers, diabetes, obesity, osteoporosis, and the list goes on and on and on. The only diet proven to reverse heart disease, the biggest killer, and the majority of patients is a whole foods plant-based diet, a vegan diet. This is better for us. We get every single nutrient we need. We're likely to have less nutrient deficiencies. And it doesn't mean you have to just eat lettuce and tofu, which is delicious anyway. But you don't have to just eat that. We got vegan burgers, we got vegan pizzas, vegan ice cream, vegan cheese, we got vegan meat, vegan burritos, vegan cakes, vegan, you name it. You name it. We literally have vegan meat. And there's these really funny videos where, actually I made one the other week where I was eating a vegan burger and these two young guys walked past. And they were like, oh, vegan, something. I said, hey, come on, come try this, I'll buy you a burger. And they had these delicious vegan meat and cheese burgers. And they loved it. It was great. Because technology has got to a point where it is totally redundant to do this to these individuals, to these animals. And maybe at some point in history, I don't know, there's an argument I've seen both ways, I don't know. Maybe at some point in history, we had to do this to get to this point. Okay, maybe we did. Does that mean we should do it now? No. Does that mean because something has been happening for a very long time, we should continue operating in that way? No. Especially when the lives of so many are at stake. So being vegan is not this extreme philosophy. It's actually what you probably already believe. Veganism, by definition, is not contributing to the exploitation of animals, which means you don't eat them, you don't wear them, you don't use them for clothing, and you don't buy products that have been tested on them. It's actually very easy. And if you ever have a question about how do I do this when I'm going vegan, what recipe should I get, what toothpaste do I get, just Google it. Vegan breakfast recipes, there's millions. Vegan toothpaste at Costco, there's plenty of options. And next time you run out of toothpaste, just replace it with that one. So it's very easy. This isn't this extreme idea. I used to think vegans were extreme. I think that's because the only vegan I knew, Grant, I heard one day that he went vegan and he didn't sit on leather couches anymore. I was like, whoa, I don't know what vegans are, but I don't know why this guy doesn't sit on couches anymore. That's weird. Some sort of religion thing, I don't know. He wants to be closer to the ground, I didn't get it. Vegan is just somebody who lives in alignment with the core values that we all already have. Our core values are to be compassionate, to be loving, respectful, to be peaceful. Most importantly, non-violent, right? I'd say, I've thought about this a lot, I'd say that that's the most important thing in our society. Non-violence towards others. That's what brings the greatest punishment. Assault, murder, sexual violence. These different things bring the greatest punishment. I agree with that. And therefore non-violence should be at the core of the ethics of any individual who's trying to be a better person and any civilization who are trying to be more ethical people. So veganism is the golden rule in action. It is about treating others the way that you would want to be treated if you were in their situation. And animals count as others. And then it's about extending your circle of compassion to embrace them all. It's about extending your circle of compassion beyond just other people of your own race, but to all races, beyond other people of just your own sex, to all genders, beyond your realm of including humans, dogs, dolphins, whales, horses, and extending that again to pigs, cows, chickens, fish, goats, sheep, everyone, everybody, all beings, as far as practically possible. You can't be perfect. Veganism is not perfection. It's about striving to cause the least amount of harm. That is all it is. And that doesn't mean as well that you'll go vegan overnight. You can go vegan overnight. I hope you go vegan overnight. I recommend you go vegan overnight. But if that is something that you think, I could never do that, so I'm not even going to entertain the idea, just like I did about I could never stop eating meat, so I won't even think about it. If you feel like that, then just start taking steps. I went vegetarian first for about a year, then I went vegan. Some people, they choose a few breakfast recipes, a few vegan recipes. They have oats with blueberries, they have avocado and tomato on toast, they have just cereal with some soy milk, smoothies, whatever. Okay, they've got breakfast sorted, boom. Now what's a few recipes I can enjoy for lunch so I know I can do this? You start learning, when I go to a Mexican restaurant, I know I can get the beans instead of the meat, I can get the guacamole instead of the sour cream and the cheese. When you go to a Thai restaurant, you can get the coconut curry or the stir fry with the tofu instead of the meat or the dairy-based dishes. You start to learn, you start to figure it out. Start trying to figure it out and start improving your life and start improving the lives of others, and this entire world will change. Think about how much better this place can be, especially when you know what's going on, especially when you think about the amount of victims. We have so much room for improvement. And it's not going to happen without us, because the issue happens only because of our choices. We create a demand for animal products, and when we buy a bit of bacon, we're not just paying for that package, we are paying for everything that happened to that animal throughout their whole life and death. We're paying for that entire thing. When we choose products made from plants that haven't been tested on animals, compassionate products, their suffering comes down. We breed less of them into existence, and we have less of this problem. That's basically veganism in a however many minutes that took a nutshell. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be chilling after, feel free to ask. And I hope that if you aren't vegan and that resonated on any level with you, look into a few documentaries. I'd recommend Earthlings, which shows all the ways that humans exploit animals for food, clothing, entertainment, and medical testing. It's very graphic, but very important to watch. You know, think about it. Most people have never spent time with cows or pigs or chickens or fish or seen how they're slaughtered, and yet we've eaten their bodies every day for our entire life. Isn't that amazing? Most people have never seen slaughterhouse footage. Most people have never been around these animals except for their body parts. That is amazing to me, and I was that as well. Earthlings. COWSPIRACY, of course, you know I'm going to say it. No, it's the best. COWSPIRACY is on the environmental devastation that animal agriculture causes. It's a leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, habitat loss, ocean dead zones, greenhouse gas emissions, water pollution, food wastage, the list goes on and on. This documentary sums it up perfectly, and it doesn't just say, look at all these problems. It also says, here's the solution. The solution is up to us. And I would also recommend Forks Over Knives, or What the Health, which are both based on the health benefits of consuming a plant-based diet, a vegan diet, and dispelling some of the myths and also showing the dangers of eating meat, dairy, eggs, and these other foods that we commonly keep in our diet. 3 very important documentaries. For everybody who's already vegan, what's up? How you going? Thanks for sitting through that. I know you knew all that stuff already. No worries. So that's step 1, going vegan. Step 2 is helping others do the same. What an important role that we have in this world. You know, we have such a purpose. Our conversations change people. Our different perspective changes people. The knowledge you already have learned that helped you go vegan is enough to change people, to inspire people, to educate and encourage people to shift their own life. The meals you put out there on Instagram or whatever, on Facebook, show people that they could eat that, you know? That you haven't died in 2 years shows people you can live like this. This is so important. It is important for all of us. What we have now is something we've never had before in history, and that is social media. Everybody's got it in their pocket. If you don't already have it, you should get it. What we have now is an opportunity to reach dozens, but usually at least hundreds and often thousands of people with a few clicks of our thumbs. That's something already in our pocket. We can spread information now so fast. People can be with us right now. Is anybody live streaming right now? Yeah. Okay, right? People are here with us now that you can't even see. This is amazing. This technology is incredible. We really need to utilize this as best as we possibly can. I started off, I had nobody, you know, I had just a few hundred friends or whatever on Facebook, and now I've got nearly 200,000 on Facebook, 200,000 on Instagram. I post every single day. Some of my videos, and by the way, I just want to point this out, like, I'm not a highly educated person. I know the basics about veganism, and I just repeat them, and that's enough to get people to change. You don't need to be highly educated or a great public speaker or any of these things. You know, you just do it your way, do things your way. and some of the things you post. Because I've posted tons of things that got barely any interaction. Maybe, I put all this time and energy into videos, 1,000, which maybe that sounds like a lot, but with all those people that I got following me, it's not a lot. Sometimes it's been less. And then sometimes it gets up to 13 million, 10 million, 9 million, 8 million, in the millions. Anybody can do that. Just put the content out there. Keep creating, keep putting content out. What kind of content am I talking about? Anything that dispels the objections that people commonly have. People think that plants feel pain. People think that free range is good enough welfare. People think that animals are killed humanely. They need protein from animal products. That the world will be overrun by chickens if we don't eat them all. There's a lot of things. People think you can't be healthy. So what I'm saying is you can show it, you can prove it in countless different ways. You can post just your meals. You can post some of the information you've already learned. You can share other people's work. But when you're doing this, whether you have a following or not, you have those few hundred people probably that are close to you, that your friends, your family, that watch and look and pay attention. You have a constant audience that you can share to, and let's not overlook that. It is extremely powerful, and it is a driving force for the change of countless people. Being able to have access to this information so readily, sharing these documentaries and all these other things. What else do I want to say about that? I do want to say another thing, because I don't have very much longer. But I just want to say as well, when you share this information, let's try to remember that we weren't there that long ago either. Let's share it with love. Let's share it with compassion. Let's share it with the intent to lift each other up, to help each other do better, rather than push people down and blame and shame. Let's not do that. Let's try to encourage people to make a better choice. Share a gift with them that will make them feel so good, that will make them feel so much happier about eating food, knowing that it's coming from a great place, not a slaughterhouse. Help people see that this is a gift you're sharing, and you're not some annoying preachy vegan. You're fighting for justice for countless of individuals, the majority of individuals on this planet, and it's a really positive thing. It's a fun party. Everyone is invited and welcomed and encouraged to stay constantly, all night. Don't go anywhere. Come to the party and stay. And I find that everyone I speak to, when you ask them what's one of the best things you've ever done, most people say it's when I went vegan. Some of those people have children, so I don't know what that's saying. It's saying that veganism is very good, and it's something that we should all embrace. And just imagine if the world did that. Imagine if society did that. We would really have come a huge way in evolving our consciousness to become more compassionate and less violent, and we would see huge improvements across the board for that. That takes us to embrace it and us to share it. So let's do that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Questions? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Questions, if somebody wants to ask something.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
So beautiful.
My pleasure. Okay, does anybody, I've got a few minutes for some questions? Yeah?
Not hurting people, animals, what I want to do, and just to help me click. And I just please keep speaking and talking to people, even if they don't get it right away.
Thank you. That's a good lesson for everybody. You might not feel, sometimes I feel like I am making, like a week ago, I was like, oh God, what am I doing? Am I helping? Like, am I wasting my time here?
You are, right?
I know. No, I just had a moment. You have moments where you see the issue and you're like, oh my God, I'm repeating myself. Is this useful anymore?
Yes.
Yeah, but we all have those moments. We all, and I'm in a lucky position where I get messages, dozens of messages every day from people who are helped. A lot of people don't have that, but I just want to say as well, yeah, I got a lot of messages from people who let me know. There's also a lot of people who never let me know. and you'll have that too. And even if you don't get messages from people saying, oh, you helped me go vegan, thanks heaps, people are still reading and paying attention, and seeds are being planted, things are sinking in, even if it's subconsciously. And I appreciate what you just said, thank you. I'm not gonna stop talking about it, even in those times where I feel like maybe I'm not being as useful as possible. And that's the same for everybody. Don't stop talking about it. You don't know who's listening, you don't know who just needs one more little nudge to make that change, and that individual could help somebody else who helps 50 million people. That guy said to me, eating animals is bad karma. He didn't even have a YouTube channel. He just said that, and I was like, all right, I'm off. And boom, here we go. So yeah, that's a good lesson for everybody. Thank you very much. Yes. Oh, whoa. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yes.
Do you like dogs now?
I love dogs. I've become one of those people around animals. You know, I used to always watch people going crazy about animals, and I'm like, oh, they're a bit weird. Now that's me. I'm obsessed with animals now. Because my whole view of them has changed. You know, it's not that I just have become an animal lover because I like patting that soft fur. It is because I see who they are now. You know, not even fully. I'm still working on it to understand who they are, but I see them more clearly. And they're so beautiful and so intelligent and so mystical and incredible. And so when I see them now, if an animal gives me some attention, I'm like, that's like a life moment for me that I never forget now. Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about going vegan that isn't an obvious benefit, is that now the world is so much richer because everywhere I look, I'm seeing someone, or this family, or that crew, like doing their thing. And the world is just so much richer. Before, I ignored all of that. I didn't care, I didn't think they mattered. And now, yeah, life is just so much more beautiful having animals in my heart. Yes, hello.
I have a question for you. Okay, so you're very influential, and I've been following you for a long time, and I know that I kind of know what you do every day. So are you doing any acts? I know it sounds so creepy.
I do show everybody. It's not just her following me around.
So are you doing any activism in Spanish-speaking countries, like South America?
Okay.
So, because I know, like, in my country, in Colombia, a lot of people know about you. Obviously, a lot of people have to wait for things to be translated. Most of them will probably understand, but a lot of them still don't.
Yep.
But I think you're very influential, and I think that, I don't know if you're doing, if you're thinking about spreading the message, vegan message, to other countries.
Yeah, thanks for your question, and thanks for following me on my stuff. I go wherever I'm invited. I've tried to say no to nothing that I could do. So I try to say yes to every opportunity. And all I ask for is for it to be organized. If there's somewhere for me to speak and there's a crowd, I'll try to get there and do it. And yeah, that's how I've been running it since I started. But in terms of getting things translated, my speech, this speech is your wake-up call, it is called. That is translated in Spanish already, so in the meantime, perhaps you could show that to some people. I'd be happy to go there or anywhere else. I don't know how it works so much with different language-speaking places. If they have an interpreter or something, I did do that in Romania once, which worked fine. So yeah, I'm happy to go anywhere. What I'm trying to focus on a little bit more now, to be honest, is social media, is what I've been talking about. Because all this travel and time zones and planes, and it takes away a lot of time from being able to actually create content. And rather than speak to a crowd of 100 people or 200 people, being able to create something that can reach hundreds of thousands of people, sometimes more, is where I'm trying to focus a bit more of my efforts. And so I am trying actually now to say no a little bit more. Anyway, that was the side story. Love to come.
You know, can I say something? Because we were talking about the translation to Spanish or other languages. You guys that have many followers, you can like say in a video, hey, I would love to have a collaborator from a Spanish-speaking community translating my videos. That would be awesome. So I'm sure you're gonna have many people doing this.
Yeah. On YouTube, people can they can just type in the captions from another language. And that speech that I was just talking about, I think it's in about 12 languages or something now. So a lot of people have done that, yeah, which is really helpful and good.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. All good? More? We have time?
Yeah, I don't know. One more question? Godfather kid? One more question? Yes.
One more, okay. People put their hands down, oh, I don't want that pressure, last one.
What's the best question?
I don't know.
I'm not doing it.
Some of my favorite videos of you are when you're talking to the kids in school. So are you doing that more? Is that something you've done, or have the schools asked you to come? Because I think that's like the core audience.
Honestly, I agree. Of all the speeches I've ever done, the best, or all the activism in general that I've ever done, one of the best, it was a really unique feelings I've got was after I spoke to, I think it was 4 years, like grades of high school students in New Zealand. And I could say whatever I wanted. I wasn't censored in any way. And it was just such a powerful experience because it really sinks in. It really sinks into children, and it's much more interactive. I'm asking them questions and they're thinking about it. So it's something I'd love to do more. The problem is it's very, very hard to get a speech on animal rights into schools, which is so sad, but it is that way. The talks that I've already done in schools have mostly been because there's been a vegan teacher at school and we just snuck me in there. We work it with the curriculum. Oh, you're studying persuasive speaking, cool, there's a persuasive speaker. And things like that. That's worked really well. But I'd cancel a lot of things in order to be able to speak to the schools instead, because it's so powerful to be able to reach them. They're a very powerful audience. So I'd love to. I do have a few things planned and a few things I'm trying to do more. And especially while I'm still kind of a little bit closer to their age, which I won't be so much in 10 years, I'd like to try to do that now, if anybody has any suggestions, which we can talk about later. Okay, that was the last question. All right, it was a pleasure. Thank you all so much. Let's get to it.